Hello, my name is Myeong Lee from AhnLab, as just introduced. Nice to meet you all. Did you all enjoy your lunch? This is our first session today. Usually at conferences, I present the latest trends and threats, but today, I want to talk about a service we have internally called a tip, which contains those kinds of threats. I'd like to explain a bit about what that service offers. Since this service isn't available for free to the public yet, I think our security personnel might be curious about what kind of content is included in it. So, I'd like to use this session to introduce some of those details. Does anyone here recognize what this graph is? Maybe you wish it was your stock price graph. And actually, I do own a stock that has a graph like this, so I can't tell you which one it is. As you can see, it shot up after November 30th, 2022. That was when AI ChatGPT was released. Since then, the term intelligence has been showing up a huge amount in our internet searches. This is the search trend for intelligence from Google Trends. No matter what anyone says, this is the era of intelligence, and even in our morning keynote session, we were all talking about AI. I don't think there's anyone here who hasn't tried using AI. When we talk about AI, we mean artificial intelligence, which refers to the ability of machines to learn, reason, and perform various intelligent actions like humans. But the intelligence in TI, threat intelligence, which we're discussing today, is a bit different. Here, it refers to information. The information we need to predict and defend against cyber threats or attacks is what we call threat intelligence. To explain to you the usefulness of this threat intelligence, specifically the usefulness of cyber threat intelligence, there are three key words I'd like to share. The first is learning from others' mistakes. When one company suffers damage, neighboring companies that haven't been affected can use the information from the affected company to strengthen their own security. The second is the Heinrich's Law. Some of you may have heard of it. It's the 129-300 rule. Before a major incident occurs, there are 29 minor incidents and 300 near misses. We refer to this kind of statistical tendency as Heinrich's Law. Lastly, there's the kill chain strategy, which was also mentioned in our morning keynote session. The steps an attacker takes to target a victim are divided into 7 stages, and ironically, if we break the chain, the attacker fails in their attack. That's why this method is widely used in cybersecurity as well. If we make good use of CTI, we can use information from others and also check for any minor incidents that have occurred within our organization, and through these means, we can use CTI to break the attacker's chain. As you know, intelligence isn't just information that comes out of nowhere. Intelligence is about collecting, processing, and analyzing the vast amount of information floating around externally and turning it into meaningful information that we can actually use. For today's session, I prepared it with the thought that many of the security professionals here may not have had much exposure to TI, or maybe haven't encountered it at all. So, I'm going to talk mainly about the 10 concerns that security professionals have, and how CTI tries to address or provide solutions for those 10 concerns. It's tough to keep up with security news. You have to organize threat trends, collect IOCs, and there are all these different concerns we have. Let's take a look at these one by one. The first concern is that it's really hard to look up security news from all over every morning. There is just so much security news out there, and it's really exhausting to try to keep up with it all. In TI, we gather all of this in one place and make it available for you to view. The problem is, just reading the news doesn't tell you how much it actually affects your company. So, if there is related IOC information in the news, you can check that as well, which means you can see whether the information in today's news could potentially cause problems for your company. Most of this news is based on reports from security vendors or research institutes. So, in fact, it's even faster than the news itself. So we also quickly collect those reports that come from security vendors. You can think of it as us monitoring almost every company that exists on the planet. Then, since we deliver this collected information to your email every day, you can receive these updates every morning and immediately use them in your work. The second concern is that you have to organize these kinds of information into weekly or monthly trends, report on them, and manage them. To help you prepare for these situations, we provide statistical information on the current status of malware, types of incidents, network-related breaches, which countries are mainly attacking which ports, and which IPs are most frequently used in attack. We also provide the same kind of status reports by industry. In addition to providing these statistical reports, we also offer weekly, monthly, and annual trend reports, so you can use these to keep track of security threat trends. So, we provide a variety of trend reports, such as malware trend reports, ransomware trend reports, dark web trend reports, and APT group trend reports. Next, of course, you also need to secure reliable IOCs. Since we are the largest AB vendor in Korea, we have a significant number of IOCs at our disposal. We can provide you with these feeds every day. If you visit our TI, you'll find IOCs labeled as A++. These IOCs are ones we've collected first or are exclusive to us, so they offer the advantage of allowing you to proactively respond to attacks originating from places like China or North Korea. These samples are actually a bit different from the IOCs you can get from open sources or OSINT, so I believe our TI will be very helpful for you. Not only the hash information, but actually the context information is important too. While information such as this hash being malicious and its detection name is provided, you could also check related behavior information and associated data. Through these, you can understand what significance a particular file has, why it was detected as malicious, and how we should respond to it. Not only files, but also URLs and IPs are provided, so you can make use of those as well. You can use this information through the API to integrate it into your firewall, IPS, IDS, or your own review systems, and utilize it for blocking threats. Yes. And of course, you need to be immediately aware when new vulnerabilities emerge, so you'll need to update the assets you use accordingly. Similarly, we collect and provide all CVs that are publicly disclosed, so you can check CV information in real time. Among them, for vulnerabilities that are serious and impactful, we prepare separate security advisories. If there are IPs or hash information and the like, we provide those as well. So instead of just giving you the CV number, we also provide related files and IOC information. This way, you can additionally check whether your vulnerabilities have been exploited or attacked. Yes, and at Company C, there is a service that provides only the vulnerabilities recently exploited in major incidents, called KV. You can also subscribe to this service and receive the information yourself. The vulnerabilities listed there may not be the most recent, but since they have been used in recent malicious incidents, they are more significant and meaningful vulnerabilities. Since we provide separate reports for those kinds of vulnerabilities, you should be able to make use of them. Internally, we have a service called Custom ASM. So, if there are any issues related to these vulnerabilities within the networks operated by our TI customers, we identify them and provide a red report specifically for those customers. So, you can use this to proactively respond before any issues arise. This is something a lot of people are curious about, right? You see news about a neighboring company getting hacked, and you wonder, is our company safe from this? That's something CISOs will ask, and it's probably a big source of stress for security managers as well. We provide information related to these concerns. We also provide the hunting rules we developed internally, and since we offer incident response services, we create and deliver detailed analysis reports on the TTPs identified in those incident environments through our response services. Along with the information we provide, we also share the hunting rules, so you can use them to check whether incidents that have caused problems at other companies might also affect your own. The sixth concern is the dark web. You need to continuously monitor whether any information related to your company is being posted on the dark web, and I know that some companies even monitor the dark web themselves for this reason. We collect data from forums on the dark web as well as DLS sites operated by ransomware groups. So, you can check this information in real time as well. Since we also secure information such as HTML files and screenshots collected at that time, you can view those details in real time as well. We also directly monitor forums on the dark web ourselves. Not only do we collect and display the information found there, but our internal analysts also analyze the content. A lot of the information posted on dark web apps is actually junk, and there are also plenty of fake or false pieces of information. It's important to assess these things, so internally, we review them to analyze the attacker's intent, who they're targeting, and whether the information is real or fake. We provide this analysis along with the information itself. And when customer damage is confirmed, you can register your company's keywords. So if any problematic content appears on the dark web app, you'll be notified right away. Also, another thing that often shows up on the dark web app is our account. Recently, attackers have been buying account information used for initial breaches and using them. They buy them all. So whether accounts related to your company have been exposed or not could actually be the starting point for whether your company will get hacked or not. If you enter your company's domain account, we collect and allow you to look up information such as IDs, passwords, or which sites had issues related to your company's accounts. On the screen, we searched for on-lab.com, and you can see that quite a lot of information has been compromised. If you look on the far left, you can see 4,000 accounts compromised, 3,890, and to the right of that, 11 account leaks, 851 account breaches. You can see that an enormous number of accounts have been compromised. This doesn't mean that our company itself has been compromised. It's actually information stolen from the browsers of users, our customers, who use our company, and that's what's being collected like this. So, we collect data from dark web sources, obtain account information traded by these attackers, and also monitor Telegram channels used by info stealers. By gathering all this information, we make it available for you to look up and check. The tool most commonly used to collect this information is the info stealer. We monitor info stealers in real time, and recently, a lot of the collected information is being traded through Telegram. The attackers gather this data and use it as C2 servers. We are monitoring these kinds of places as well. We are showing this in real time. So, statistically, we see that anywhere from 20,000 to 200,000 pieces of information are exposed every day, and it's likely that the accounts you use are also being collected here. You want to know about these threat intelligence updates before they hit the news, right? If something makes it onto the news, it becomes much harder for you to respond, so you need to act quickly and address these issues before that happens. That's why you want to know before it hits the news. So, internally, we have a variety of detection rules related to these threats. We use those to collect information as well. So, if you look at the slab map on our TI screen, you can see in real time which attack groups are carrying out what activities from which IPs, and you can use this information as a reference for your response. By organizing this information and delivering it quickly through our platform before it appears in the news, you'll be able to promptly check if there are any issues related to you. And especially in Korea, APT groups operating from China or North Korea are very active in targeting Korea. So, there is a high demand for related information. That's why we also provide information about those activities. If you go to the threat actor page, you'll find that we collect and provide information on many attack groups. You can also find basic descriptions of these attack groups, such as what techniques they use, who they target, and where they operate. As of August, we are tracking about 375 TA groups in total. If you look at it by continent, this is the scale we have. Most of these groups actually operate in 4 main regions: China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. While there are APT groups in other countries as well, they don't make up a significant portion of the total. We track these TA groups and, starting last year, we've been preparing and using a naming system that assigns the names based on arthropods. When we haven't yet confirmed which attack group is responsible, we temporarily assign the name Marva to manage them. Once enough information is gathered, and we can clearly attribute the activity to a specific group, we then assign them a proper name. As I mentioned earlier, the most active groups are from North Korea, China, Russia, and Iran. We refer to North Korea as ant. China is called cricket, and Russia is called hornet. And for Iran, we use the name scorpion to manage them. We compile this information into reports and provide them to you. There are mainly two types of reports that are publicly available for you to check. These are reports that we have jointly analyzed and published together with the National Intelligence Service. The one on the left covers the activities of the attack group called TA Red Ant, and the one on the right details the activities of the China-related attack group known as Shadow Cricket. This is the last, number 10. We need detailed analysis reports on threats, but honestly, we don't have many people internally who can do that kind of analysis. So in the end, we can't really carry out such detailed analysis ourselves, but that's what we do for you instead. We do need AI, but we also need a lot of analysts behind that AI to do the analysis work. Some of you may have seen the APT Down report that was released last month. Many of you. It was released at DEF CON and published in Frac magazine, so it became quite an issue at the time, and some time has passed since then. On August 9th, a report called APT Down, the North Korea file was released, and this was reported as a news article in Security News at the time. That date, August 9th, was a Saturday. Since the article came out on a Saturday, I expect that many of you received the news at home and checked out the details then. In this case, not only did the attacker release the report, but they also made public about 8.9 gigabytes of data that was believed to have been collected from the attacker's actual computer. So, we also needed to analyze that data, but our clients don't really have enough personnel for that kind of analysis. That's why we handle and provide those analysis services on their behalf. After the data was made public on August 9th, we released the first exposure the very next Monday. At that time, we posted information about the victim. When we looked at the attacker's computer, we could see which victims had been targeted, and we shared that information as well. Secondly, additional victims were identified. Previously, it was mostly public institutions or telecom companies that were identified. In this second case, software developers who used those services were also confirmed as victims, so we included them and provided that information as well. Next, it was confirmed that the attacker knew the passwords of government agencies. So, you know those English abbreviations used by public institutions in our country. We confirmed that the attacker possessed a large number of passwords made up of those abbreviations and was using them, so that's how we described it. Next, there was a lot of talk about who the attacker actually was. It turns out that two white hat hackers, known as Saber and Cyborg, collected and released this information. They initially said it was Kim Soo-ki and released it under the name. So, it was claimed to be a North Korean attack group, but as we looked into it, we found that this attacker didn't know any Korean at all. So, most of the time, they used Chinese or sometimes a bit of English. So, if there were Korean comments in the source code, we could see that they used a Korean-English Google Translator to translate them into Chinese or English. So, we confirmed and revealed information showing that the attacker was a Chinese speaker who didn't know Korean. Next, I also included information that they were not only attacking Korea, but were also preparing and carrying out attacks targeting Taiwan and Japan. And now, they analyzed the encryption routines of software used by domestic public institutions in Korea. While analyzing, we found a lot of traces showing that they had used them internally. So, we also confirmed that they actually succeeded in their attacks and were able to decrypt encrypted IDs and passwords. So we began disclosing that information as well. Yes, although the information is up to August 29th, in fact, even this Monday, we additionally confirmed that they were carrying out phishing email attacks impersonating Naver and Kakao. After this, in fact, we are preparing a comprehensive analysis report related to APT Down, so once it is released, I think it will be helpful for you to refer to it. Yes, by analyzing these various threats, we are now providing them in several different types of content. You can think of it as being provided mainly in 4 types of content. We actually have so many types of reports internally that it might be a bit confusing for you. The first type is the risk note. Whenever we identify information related to malware, attack techniques, or security incidents, we quickly analyze it and, prioritizing speed over accuracy, we promptly provide our customers with a risk note. Next, we have the dark web note. As for the dark web note, as I mentioned earlier, we monitor the dark web. And whenever we quickly collect information related to our customers or threat intelligence that you need to know, we provide it to you promptly. Next, the threat analysis report is something that takes a lot of time to prepare. Within our company, just in ASCC alone, we have over 30 analysts, and in total, there are more than 50 analysts working with us. These analysts conduct investigations and provide their findings to you in the form of reports. In addition to analysis reports, we also release monthly or quarterly reports, and last year, we even published an annual report. Through annual reports and similar formats, we also provide you with trend reports so that you can carry out strategic intelligence. So, I've addressed these 10 concerns that you might have. Now, in the age of AI, attackers are using a wide variety of methods and leveraging AI to carry out their attack. It's become too difficult for a single victim or for each company to respond to this kind of information on their own. If one place suffers damage, that information needs to be quickly shared so that secondary and tertiary damages don't occur, and to make that possible, we collect and provide a wide range of threat intelligence. That's why we need a paradigm shift in how we approach CTI. In the past, we focused mostly on incident response, but now the emphasis is on being able to prevent incidents in advance. This proactive security approach, also known as defend forward, involves going as far as securing the attacker's systems to prevent attacks from happening in the first place. As this paradigm shift is taking place, CTI is becoming increasingly necessary for you all. Next is the importance of context. Usually, we just share things like IOC hashes, block them, and if malware appears, we just treat it and stop there. But that's not enough. We need to check what kind of context this has, and what needs to be done to prevent it from happening again. And as mentioned in the keynote earlier, collaboration is extremely important. So, as we said earlier, as mentioned in the keynote, I hope that companies like ours, or security providers like us, can collect a lot of this information, communicate with you, and share as much of this information as possible. That concludes my prepared presentation. Thank you for listening.